Week 7 of the high school football season means it is the time for the Week 7 edition of Falls Friday Night. Here it is, Jonathan Hull right here with you, hosting this thing alongside right now just Zach Duncan of Red River Roundup. Eventually, we will have Nolan Clark from 940 Game Day joining us as well. Hey, appreciate uh, everybody coming back and joining us for another week of this. I've lost track. I've even lost count. What is this, week 4 for us doing this? Week 5? I've lost count. But anyway, good to keep it going. Zach, tonight you saw a great game. City View, Jacksboro. Yeah, man. Talk about that one and how that one played out there.
Yeah, it was a really good game. Jacksboro led for most of it. They actually got down 8-0 the first couple minutes. They fumbled in the end zone. But that was their only turnover of the night. They were up 21-14 at half. Got the second half kickoff, got up 2 scores. At one point, they had a big case of Dennis with a big interception, ran it down. They got up 3 scores with like 9 minutes left, and you kind of figure the game's over. Seaview scores twice with about 3.5 minutes left. They are a stop and a score away from maybe tying it, but Jacksboro's Wyatt Gavitt threw a third touchdown pass of the night and put that game away 49-34. So it was a big win for City View or for Jacksboro. They're now 2-4, but they're 1-0 in district. And I think that's the only record they care about.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talk about it. We were kind of saying, like, I mean, is this whenever they were 0-4? Yeah, 0-4. Yeah, 0-4. We're like, well, this is one of the best 0-4 teams in the state. And of course, we always talk about things like that, right? We always put those kind of things out there. And then you felt like, hey, this is still a really good 1-4 team. You got to ignore the record with these guys, and then they got to prove it tonight. They proved that, hey, ignore the record. We did. They have battled through some adversity with injuries that, listen, early in the season always makes you stronger when you get there late, especially if you can get healthy during that process as well. And so they had guys get some valuable reps early. Now you're getting healthy. Wyatt Gavitt sounded like he just had an outstanding night tonight too. And to get that going too, you still, because they've lost some really good skill players around him, not just from graduation last year, but just through injuries that have happened throughout this year. Just talk about what you saw in Wyatt Gavitt tonight.
Hey, and first off, just want to make sure I don't see us live on 940 Game Day. Maybe I need a refresh, I guess. But there we go. Now we're good. My bad. I'm trying to
Yeah. We're
share it
live.
here.
We're live, man. We're live.
I'm trying to multitask here. Yeah. So I think the big deal was his ankle was hurt, so he wasn't really running the ball even when he was bad. He wasn't running the ball at quarterback, so he wanted to run the ball well tonight. I had him 21 carries for 121 yards, threw 3 touchdown passes, 176 yards passing the ball, and so did a really good job just managing the offense. Stevie's defense gave up some scores, but got some timely sacks, a big pick. But yeah, Wyatt Gavitt, like that Jacksboro offense is going to be trouble because they have a lot of different guys they can throw the ball to, and they had a running back, Axel Salazar, who had a nice little game. Just a really impressive. Like we've both seen Seaview's defense; it's pretty dang good. So just really
Yep.
impressive that to score 49. I did not think that was possible. I guess tonight to score 49 against a good City View defense.
It's a good City View defense. It's an opportunistic City View defense that's created a lot of turnovers throughout the night. And so for them to handle that's a loud statement for me. You kind of put it out there on, I know, in your final score tweet that hey, this is a message to the rest of that district, and I absolutely agree. I mean, I don't think that anybody in the district was taking Jacksboro lightly to begin with. You know, these guys in the district, they know what Jacksboro's gone through. They know what Jacksboro's got and how good they're going to be in this district. But it's definitely a note still. Hey, this is a team that can come in here despite that record and win that district. Uh, Other big games in the area tonight. Listen, Nolan Clark's going to be with us later, and we're going to talk about the Kraut Bowl out there with Munster and Lindsay. Really tight game for much of it, but then Munster was able to pull away there in the second half. Um, but hey, we had to get over to Memorial Stadium. Now I set out tonight. I've been sick for 10 days now. You can still hear it in my voice, but it it what Legacy did tonight against Plainview, I thought was possible. I put it in my predictions that it was possible, and Legacy beats Plainview tonight, 56-42. I thought a shootout in them, and I really thought it matched up well with what Legacy does. But they pulled it off. They executed it. Huge win for them. And we're going to have Coach Greg Davis on with us later on in this podcast too. You want to stay tuned for that later on for Legacy fans. But man, it, just watching that game, and I watched the whole thing on YouTube, and what a job! What a execution of that offense was just fantastic throughout.
Yeah, it's a big win. They're sitting 0-2 in district. Another team tonight, Bowie 0-2 district. We're going to talk to Coach Price as well, but you really just don't want to go to 0-3. It's really
Yeah,
tough at that point. And Plainview had that big Lubbock Cooper win, and I'm not saying that that's a bad win, but Lubbock Cooper just lost by 50 tonight to Abilene Cooper. So all
yeah.
of a sudden, that win doesn't seem as impressive as it did a couple weeks ago. And then I believe Plainview was off last week, so you got the
Yeah.
buy, and then you have to make a trip. That Plainview to Wichita Falls drive is all full, and so you have to make that drive. You've been off a week, uh, and we saw Palo Duro handle that really well last week. They had to make the drive after being off a week, and they started really strong against Memorial. Um, Plainview doesn't sound like had the same result, and so a great win for Lefty, and uh, a great job getting that done tonight.
It's the people don't understand that Plainview to Lubbock, Plainview to Wichita Falls drive, and they'll compare it to like Lubbock to Wichita Falls. No, it's not the same. There's some more kind of back roadish type thing to Plainview that it's a lot tougher. Like it's just a lot tougher of a drive. You're right. Um, with that, I do got to bring up though something from this drive, and I just posted the comment up here. Where's the Team Aaron shirt? So you made some kind of bet here where if Legacy won tonight, you were going to have to win to wear a shirt, and of course
So,
it's a shirt for a great cause. I'm putting
yes.
you on the spot. I'm sorry, man. I'm not letting you off on
No, you're
this.
you're you're fine. There was no bet. Dustin Holly's my good friend. Love Aaron Holly to death. That's his wife. She's battling some health problems. I bought a Legacy Soccer Aaron Holly shirt. Gonna wear it. Not I'm a Memorial Soccer coach. Not gonna wear it, like out and about, but I want to support them. And then Dustin said, "Hey, if we beat Plainview, you got to wear the shirt." And I said, "Man, I'm not wearing the shirt." I never made a bet, but I was like, never, I'm not wearing the shirt, but I'll take the shirt. I'll wear it, or I'll wear it. I'm not gonna wear it out in public. So, Dustin texted me tonight and told me, he's like, "Hey, where's the shirt?" And you want me to bring you the shirt? I'm like, "Man, I don't have time to go get the shirt." So, but yeah, we're very happy. Erin's doing better. I'm sure a lot of people have kept up with her and what they've been going through, and
Yeah.
happy for the Legacy win tonight. But yeah, I'm not wearing the shirt. So
I had to do it. I had to do it. Coach Holly had texted me, and he actually texted me the receipt too. Uh, um, but you acting like you didn't realize Legacy was winning was in a text message. What was pretty funny in itself. But yeah, man, so much action across the way. And I said this. I put this also in my predictions thing. It's like this looked like a kind of a cut and dry night, right? Like I don't think there were a lot of games where we were kind of separate, like as far as picking games. And whenever I put out the picks panel and stuff, there was a lot of like across the board. Hey, yes, it's this. Everybody's picking the same, right? Consensus picks, if you will. Anytime it's like that, upsets are going to happen. It's just the
well,
nature. I don't know. It's like a scientific law of football or something.
Well, I think we had some games that you feel like this team probably should win, but like I thought Bowie could beat Ponder. Electra beat Seymour tonight 14-6, and that's a big win for Electra. But I thought Seymour could beat Electra, and it was a tight game. I think it was tight at half. Another game that was close all night. I felt like Northside being Knox City, and granted, I don't know how that's going to impact playoffs grand scheme of things, but that's a big win for the Northside program. They're undefeated. So yeah, there were some good close results in games. Like I'm not shocked Jacksboro beat City View. So yeah, I think a lot of people picked a certain team to win, but nothing really shocked me. I wasn't shocked by anything. I'm not shocked by Legacy beating Plainview either. Like it's kind of surprising, but that the way that district is, we're gonna have like a shock every week. I feel like.
It feels that way, and I do agree with you too. I did none of the ones that did win. necessarily shock me. I thought that the potential was there. Now, I didn't necessarily pull the trigger and pick that win either, but I did think the potential was there for that to happen. And one of those that I did think that there was the potential to happen was out in Bowie tonight. And with what Bowie did against Ponder, and I'm going to give him a minute because I can see his camera, and I don't know if he can hear us, and he's not quite ready to be on the air with us. But what they did, and Bowie beating Ponder, and listen, pulled away from him at one point really well, and had that one in hand. Ponder makes a run at it late. They did some adjustments, and that Bowie did to get their offense re-energized after a couple tough weeks. We're going to bring him on now, right here on the McCauley Landscapes Coaches Hotline. Coach Price, congrats getting the district win tonight. Hang on, let me get you on the big screen. And man, a lot of scoring tonight. What did you guys do? Because I know offensively, you've been frustrated for a couple of weeks. You had to have been. What did y'all change tonight going into it to get it rolling tonight the way you did?
Well, I think the big thing. Thank you. By the way, I think the biggest thing for us as a staff and as a football team was we didn't hit the panic button. You know, we played two really good teams in Paradise and Peaster, and we moved the ball. We didn't necessarily finish drives. We didn't execute in some big moments. So I think we did a good job of not hitting the panic button and then keep doing what we do. And we needed guys to make plays, and they did not.
I feel like you had to go into this game thinking, hey, this is – I mean, you could lose this game and still make the playoffs, obviously, but I feel like this was kind of a early playoff game. I even wrote that today, that this was kind of a – like if we win this, we feel a lot better than if we lose this type of game. How did you approach that type of stakes with your kids? Did y'all tell them, hey, this is a really big game, we got to get this, or was it just kind of business as usual?
No, it was. We told them it was a huge game, and they knew it was a huge game. I think that's one difference from this team to maybe teams in the past here is, you know, they know that the football IQ is a little higher. And, you know, we treat everybody the same. Every game's big for us, especially in this district. But they knew, like, hey, it's time. Like, we got to go. We didn't call it a must win necessarily, but we just said it was huge. And, you know, we felt like that was one that slipped away from us last year. And our kids were really hungry to get this from the notch.
Talk about how this game kind of played out. It seemed like y'all were down a little bit early, and then you had a big second quarter, and then kind of stretched out your lead. I think at one point I looked up and y'all were up by 20, but then it kind of tightened up on us. Kind of tell us about the flow of that game.
Yeah, so I felt like we had a feeling that they were going to do a certain thing to stop Raider, and the look that we were anticipating on getting all week in practice we got, and so I felt like we had a good plan going into it, and Raider got going. We finally got his legs back going, and he was making some plays, kind of the Raider you saw at the beginning of the year. Defense got some huge stops. We did a really good job of containing the Price kid at Ponder, who's just an exceptional player. And we were able to just make plays. You know, a kid like Colton Dosh made huge plays. Of course, Tyler Ritchie, everyone knows about him. He had 4 touchdowns tonight. And Tyler was Tyler, Raider was Raider, and we had, you know, a handful of guys that no one talks about as much just ball out. And that was the difference. And, you know, I think we got that big lead. Even late in the third quarter, we're up by 20, right? Up by 20 late in the third. And we started playing, you know, a little softer zone, and they started having some success on the air, but they chewed up a lot of clock to do it. And, you know, we didn't recover an onside kick there at the end. But I think the biggest thing is we got to work on a lot of situations, game situations that are hard to simulate in practice. So that was good for our kids.
We got the stats from your game because Brent Ferris does a great job keeping stats for y'all. Tyson Price, which is Ponder's quarterback, 39 of 57 for 425 yards and 6 touchdowns. But he throws a pick. You get 2 fumbles, I guess, off of him, force 2 fumbles, and you hold him to -1 rushing yards. So, like, that's very telling both different ways. He obviously had a lot of success throwing the ball, but you're able to turn him one-dimensional, and then you got 3 turnovers on him. That had to ultimately kind of be the key of the game, right?
It did. And, you know, I'm going to let my DC talk, Jason McCoy. Got him right here.
Yeah.
If you are good with that, we were worried about the Price kid with his legs more than his arms, and we knew that he could throw the ball, but the scariest part of his game was his legs. So I'm going to let Coach McCoy take this one.
Absolutely. Hey, Coach. Good to see you.
Guys, y'all too. Y'all too. Thanks for having us. Yeah, we had three keys of the game tonight, and stopping number 3 for them was a big part of it, especially with his legs. To think that he's going to throw the ball 57 times was insane to even guess. But yeah, they started airing it out, and we were playing a cover 4 look, and just we weren't be able to. We got pressure on him early, but we had guys going both ways, and they got wore out. Our front 3, we have a good front 3, and he just having to cover that many passes. That's tough on a defense.
I feel like
you
though,
talk about I'm going to take it, Zach. If you talk about like that D line, man, that I every week I'm looking at those stats, and those guys are pulling up so many tackles for loss and sacks, and it seems like they're creating turnovers on a weekly basis there. I'd like you to talk a little bit more about those guys you have up front.
Yeah, a lot of times we can get pressure, whether it's in the run game and getting negative yards that way, or the pass game with just our 3 down linemen. We're 3-4, and we depend on our quickness up front. And Noah Metzler, he doesn't get talked about a lot, but he causes havoc. They have to double team him. He's a real headache for offenses on the defensive line at defensive end. And then Tyson Jordan's another one, Willie Brown, and a couple of others. But I've talked to them many times about how you're the heart of our defense. Y'all make us go. And for us to give up 72 yards, I think it was tonight, rushing with number 3, the way he can run it if he gets out of the pocket, I was real pleased with that. So it's something we hang our hat on, is up front 3.
So Vernon played them last week and basically shut them out till late in the game. And Vernon's defense was really good. I don't have to tell you that. Did Vernon do anything that you looked at like, hey, we could do this? Or did Vernon kind of, because they've been averaging 70 points now, again, against competition that's not as strong as y'all or Vernon, but did Vernon kind of give y'all any kind of tips to maybe help you do some stuff against them?
Well, they stood out. From what I remember, they stood up their ends, and I think if I had to guess, their ends were told 3 doesn't get outside of you. They're so athletic. Vernon is really good football team, and then they played a lot of zone coverage. They would, I don't know exactly what they were doing, but they were sitting guys in the flats, and they fly around so well. It's something we try to do as well. We're a fast defense, but we had to cover for a long period of time, especially tonight. It's hard on a DB. I know that for sure. But yeah, we watched Vernon. Obviously, I watched that film a lot, and watched it all the way through, just kind of get a feel for the game. And we took a few things away from it. I put Noah Metzler. His job was tonight to stop number 3 for running the football, and he did a really good job of it.
Sounds like it, guys. Kind of final question here. Get this win in district at this point. I mean, what does this do for you guys? Kind of reset here, going into to get through the rest of the district play. Obviously, the goal here is the playoffs. And how are you feeling about that part? About that part of your goals moving forward?
Yeah, I think it's we control our destiny. After starting off District 0-2, we needed a big shot in the arm, and I think we got that tonight. So just like I told the kids, though, you drop games against Peaster and Paradise, like you don't have time to feel sorry for yourself because you got another good team next week. And I think the message is pretty consistent. I mean, like, hey, we got a huge win tonight, a huge win for our program. We're going to enjoy this thing tonight, but we're getting ready for the Boyd Yellow Jackets tomorrow morning. So it's great. We're going to enjoy it. But I think just our kids just keep fighting and believing in what we're selling, I think is great. So we're excited.
Well, Coach, thank you again for joining us and doing this. I told you I thought we might have a reason to get you on this thing again, and we did. You gave us that reason tonight, and appreciate that. And I hope we got some more to talk about here in the next few weeks.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, Coach. That's Coach. Yeah, the Coach Jason McCoy from Bowie on the Macaulay Landscapes coach's hotline. Real quick, let me do our advertising stuff here real quick. Hey, pay some bills here. Pay some bills. Macaulay Landscapes, been in business for 21 years, keeping Wichita Falls beautiful. Whether it's keeping your yard green and healthy or transforming your outdoor space, Macaulay Landscapes has the experience and care you can count on. Visit MacaulayLandscapes.com to learn more about their full range of services. And, of course, our main sponsor here on this Falls Friday night. You see them up in the right-hand corner throughout the stream is Arrowhead Roofing. For more than 25 years, Arrowhead Roofing has been Texoma's trusted name for roofing, siding, gutters, and more. They'll do windows, anything that's on the exterior of your house. They're the experts you want to call. Let them protect what matters most, your home. Arrowhead Roofing, the exterior experts. All right, well, in a little bit, should have Coach Greg Davis joining us here in the next little bit. Hoping Nolan Clark can get on here talking some Kraut Bowl here for a bit too. Zach, real quick, looking at scores, what stands out for you that happened across the area tonight?
Well, Vernon, I know they were worried about that Boyd game just because it's another game in that district. Vernon took care of business 44-14. Our Park, tough. Paradise is just so good. I saw that firsthand. Paradise beats Our Park 43-7. So really the Bowie Ponder game was the only close game in that district tonight. Graham took down Burke Burnett 37-14. Good solid win for Graham. Burke was cute hanging in there though. I'm pretty impressed with Burke just kind of making that a game for a while. I think Haskell doubled up Monday 44-20. But Monday made that game close too. We were getting updates from our good pal Cliff McGuire, and I think Monday scored the first couple times in the second half there. So that's kind of about it. Well, Holiday, I thought they could beat Millsap, but 52-3. And I believe Braden Hamill I got texted, had a 99-yard touchdown catch. So you can't beat longer than that. So yeah, so just impressed with Holiday beating Millsap like that. That I think that's a good showing for them. So those were kind of some scores that caught my eye.
That's a statement. Of course, Windthorst continues just to dominate their district, 63-0. Brock Belcher took an off night. Just 4 touchdown passes for him tonight, and 354 yards on just 18 attempts. So yeah, didn't do what he's normally doing. Okay, whatever. I really. We talked about this, you and I have. I really am inspired by the Adam Barton story of Windthorst right now, a kid who's dealt with some stuff off the field injury wise, and has come back in the last couple of weeks, is just really putting it out there for the Trojans. And we already knew he's a great player, but what he's added to their running game the last 2 weeks, 97 yards on just 4 carries tonight, 3 of them for touchdown. He had 2 touchdown runs last week too, and so I think he has 6 touchdowns since he's come back here in the last 2 weeks, and so that's a big guy to come back. I mean, we're talking about the guy who's one of the leading area tacklers just a year ago, and now he's contributing on the offensive side that much as well is a big deal. I didn't think there was a whole lot of other surprises last night, but right now, it looks like he's ready as I look him in the backstage area. Hopefully, I don't catch him off guard, but I'm gonna pull. Well, hold on. We got somebody new coming. Nolan Clark. Nolan Clark has made it to the stream. I appreciate you there, buddy. Glad you got in here.
Barely made it.
Barely made it. Well, we're going to jump right in because we're going to bring on Coach Greg Davis right now too onto the McCauley Landscapes hotline. Coach Davis, congratulations. Big district win for you guys tonight. I felt like every time I look back up at the TV, that's where I watched y'all tonight, was on my YouTube channel, and you guys were scoring. the offense and your passing game was just on an elite level tonight. I'll let you start there. How good was that passing game tonight for you?
Man, it was shocking and refreshing to see. We work a lot on it during the week, and just to see it come to, those fruit come to life a little bit and some execution, it definitely was a good thing to see this week.
Coach, I thought one of the biggest things that you had done here in recently, and I think y'all did it last week, was moving Jaquan Carroll over to running back and getting him some more touches that way. You were so deep at receiver. And so I thought getting a kid like that, who I don't think there's any doubt he's a next level talent, and being able to let him touch the ball a lot more. What lent to that decision to move him, make that move there?
Well, our running back room is pretty banged up. Kevin Riddle showed an appearance tonight, and we didn't want to lean on him too much. So, we was actually at practice, and it was like, let's just take a look at Corn and see if he can do it. And we were like, oh my gosh, we just kicked ourselves in the tail because he could have helped us a couple of weeks ago versus a couple of different opponents.
Yeah.
With
Coach,
y'all, go ahead, Nolan.
Okay, sorry. So congratulations on the win tonight, Coach. We saw back in week 1, y'all took down Coronado to get the program's first victory. Now tonight, you get the program's first district victory over Plainview, who we saw beat Lubbock Cooper just 2 weeks ago. What's that do for the confidence of your program now?
A lot. It puts us right in the middle of district play, and we got 3 really good ones coming up. Luckily, we get a bye to get some kids healthy. But it gets us towards our goal, which is trying to get in the playoffs. I mean, ultimately, but we just want to take them one at a time, and it's great for our kids. Just the confidence booster, keeps the morale around the school where it needs to be. So I'm just excited for our guys. They played well tonight.
Yeah, getting that win into the bye week, I think, is a big deal too. Just talk about, a win into a bye week, what that's done. I'm sure that's happened to your teams in the past, and that can just carry on with you. I know you hate losing going into the bye week, right?
It's worse. That's like almost as worse than losing the state championship game because it just lingers and lingers. And hopefully you got a team coming out the bye week that you can beat to kind of get that taste out of your mouth. But just going into a bye week with a win is almost like Christmas morning for our kids. We're so young and inexperienced, so they'll be able to, walk with their chest up a little bit for about 2 weeks.
Coach, what is this district? I mean, seriously, we think we have this district figured out, and I go every week. I feel like I'll know a little bit less about it. Is it as wide? I mean, is it just that wide open? Do you think that's what it is?
I think it's that wide open. And it's kind of hard to say because I think it comes down to matchups. What they do well versus what you don't do well, and it's a personnel thing. But it feels wide open at the moment.
And I thought coming into this game, and I wrote it in predictions. Now I'll eat it. I didn't predict Legacy to win tonight, but I was like, this is a matchup that I felt like favored y'all, just because you looked at what Plainview does, and they get into shootouts. Every one of their games has kind of been a shootout, and I thought that set up well, especially with what you have in that receiver room. And just the talent that you had out there on the outside, I thought it could really set up for you to make these kind of moves and to push this game the way it did. Did y'all get that feeling watching film?
We did, but I want to first and foremost take my hat off to Coach Watt and that football team. They're a very talented offense, and they play really, really hard. And I wasn't shocked that they had a chance to beat us at certain points of the game, just because they score on everybody, So they do a really, really good job at Plainview. And I'm just glad that it just ball swung our way tonight.
Every time they scored, and it's because you didn't. I'm trying to remember. I don't think you did you trail tonight? I don't think. No. So and every time they pulled even or got within you, I mean, your offense responded.
Yeah.
To get that from your team at this point, and I just again, I watched almost every game last year. I've seen a lot of the games this year. I would have been out there tonight if I didn't feel like I do. But Coach, just to see the maturation of this team, how far have y'all come to be that type of team to where, hey, yeah, y'all just punched us in the mouth, but hey, here we go, haymaker coming right back at you.
We've come a very long way. I was telling someone earlier today, for whatever reason, we've been able to put quarters or halves together, but never 2 halves. We've shown glimpses against top-tier opponents that we can actually get a job done, but our youth, for whatever reason, there's about a 5 to 6 play fog that sets in, and nobody knows what they're doing for about 5 or 6 plays. We don't know what they're doing. The kids don't know what they're doing. And, against a couple of earlier opponents, those are, 2 to 3 scores, or mistakes that tainted the game. So just to see us put the whole game together tonight was definitely refreshing. We'll try our best to build on that. And I'm just proud of our guys. My voice is gone. I wish I could talk a little bit better right now, but my voice is
Hey,
gone.
you're good. Coach, we sound the same. But what, Coach, hey, we appreciate you getting on here, man. We've really been looking for a reason to get you on this live stream since we started, and very glad you guys gave us that tonight. That was a lot of fun to watch. I wish I could have been there in person. Instead, I don't know if you know, you had Coach Bendel actually up in the broadcast booth doing the YouTube stream of you tonight. So you might need to go back and watch and listen and make sure see if he gave you some bulletin board material for week 11. But no. But Coach, thank you again for joining us, and man, really hope we got another reason to bring you on here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you. That's Coach Greg Davis from Legacy on the Macaulay Landscapes Coaches Hotline. All right, again, man, what a game. It was actually a lot of fun to listen to Coach Bendel call that game too, because as Zach Duncan has given us a tour of his house, I didn't know that.
Well, I have a special guest. So Coach Hawley has actually come by my
Yes.
house. So Coach Hawley, come join us over here. So we're gonna make Coach Hawley get on the air. He has brought me a shirt. Let's hold up the shirt.
There we go.
So he got it.
He's making good on his bet.
Making good. I don't ever remember an actual bet, but it's a Team Aaron bet. So I'm wearing this. I'm wearing this in support of Team Aaron here. I'm gonna let you hold the phone so I can put it on. I'm just gonna wear it for a couple minutes. But how's Aaron doing these days?
Doing very good.
Excellent.
So we are, as of last week, we are cancer free.
Cancer-free as of last week. That's awesome.
Been a couple scans later on Monday. Hopefully we'll be home super soon.
So there we go. Good deal. Well, even though I didn't truly make a bet, Dustin Hawley's a good man, and I support Team Aaron. So I got the shirt on. Thanks for coming by. Aaron texted me, so I didn't do it for this guy right here, but Aaron texted me, and so I said I'd wear the shirt.
Y'all do a great job. I enjoy the show so much.
That's good stuff. Thank you, Coach.
Yeah,
man.
I'm gonna make sure my name blocks the logo, the Legacy logo, soccer logo.
You're gonna put that on him, yeah. So good deal. Well, glad to see that, and awesome to hear that about Aaron Hawley being cancer free, and we can all celebrate that one right there. That's the biggest win that I've heard of this week for sure. Well, let's get back to a little bit of football here. Nolan Clark with the late entry, man. Fashionable entrance here from him tonight. Kraut Bowl, man. What was the atmosphere like out there tonight? And what was your take on that game? Munster pulls away late, 49-28 win.
Yeah, definitely didn't disappoint. I believe all of Western Cook County and maybe a few more were out at Hornet Stadium tonight. But it was a state-ranked showdown. Two really good teams went head-to-head. You kind of had two different style offenses that faced off tonight. Lindsay, who has the kind of I guess you call it the ground and pound, short yardage. They just sit there and wear you down, and every once in a while they'll throw a pass over the top of you. And then, like I said a couple of weeks ago when Munster played Windthorst, Munster just has the explosive offense that has so many guys that can take it to the house. It was a great matchup through the first 2.5 quarters. Halftime, Lindsay had the lead, 28-21. I think the key to that was Lindsay held the time of possession very well. They limited the amount of time and chances Case and Carney and that Munster offense had time on the field to make big plays. They came out once again, exchanged touchdowns, but then eventually that Munster just warmed down and ran away with it in the fourth quarter and took down Lindsay 49-28.
Yeah, it sounded like I was keeping up with it, and it just sounded like a great game, back and forth. I'll let Zach ask his question, but I think this for Lindsay was a kind of a measuring stick, right? Anytime you're facing defending state champs in a program like Munster, that's who you're chasing. How did you feel like Lindsay measured up to Munster in this game, and what does that mean for the rest of this region as far as playoffs go?
Like I said, through 2.5 quarters, they were right there on top of them. Munster didn't have their first lead till late third quarter. So I think that they can truly hang with anybody in the region. What was the other part of your question again? Sorry.
That's really you got it. You answered it.
Okay.
I mean, that's really it. I mean, this region is so good. And Zach, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's one of those things that you feel like, hey, Lindsay's in this game as long as it's close, but if they get down a couple scores, it's gonna be tough. Just from what they do offensively, they gotta play ahead or even. Once they get down a couple scores, then you feel like it's probably kind of run its course for the Knights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Like, just their offense isn't designed to score points super fast in short amount of time. Like I said, it's kind of designed to wear down the other team. And we saw them; they went to the pass fourth quarter quite a few times, but it just wasn't there for them tonight.
Well,
What were some
Nolan,
other?
Yeah, go ahead, Zach. That's what I was going to ask right there.
I was going to ask Nolan some other scores that around the area that surprised him. I saw Santo beat Era, so that to me was a little bit of a surprise. That's kind of maybe a possible for a playoff spot. But what were some scores that kind of surprised you from your area?
Yeah, from my area. Sorry if I duplicate anything y'all talked about at the beginning of the show. The one that stood out to me is next week. I'm probably going to be in Sanger. They'll be hosting Crum, who's unbeaten. Sanger also has one loss on the year. It's the Gunner. They're also unbeaten in district, so it's looking like it's going to be a district championship potentially. They took on the defending district champions from last year, Van Alstyne. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it or not. Sorry. But this had a 1-point spread in favor of Sanger, and they won 73-23 tonight. I thought that was a very loud statement from the Indians there, and it sets up a massive matchup next week in Sanger between Crum and the Indians. I know y'all had Coach Price on earlier ago. I was really surprised to see Bowie get that game under their belt. You know, they took on Peaster and Paradise the first 2 weeks in district. That's such a tough draw. And this is huge for their playoffs hope. This brings them back above the water to compete back in that district. Scrolling through the rest of them, like y'all said, Santo took down Arrow, ruined their unbeaten streak, 27-14 tonight. A big game in 6-man, I think, could potentially be another district championship that was played tonight was Perrin Witt at Newcastle. We saw Perrin Witt took down St. Joe last week, big time, and Newcastle fell to Jayton, so they were both in kind of different positions just a week ago, and Newcastle brought it to the Pirates tonight, 53-14, as they open up district play 1-0. But yeah, that's all I got from kind of my area and scrolling through the scores here.
I don't think we can get off of here without talking about Decatur hanging 91 points on Thursday night.
I wish Decatur was in a better district because they're in that fourth district, and there's Springtown, who's pretty good, and Decatur, who's pretty good, and then after that, it's a lot of not good. And a lot of those Springtown Decatur games have been on Thursdays because obviously Fort Worth IC share stadiums.
Yep.
But yeah, I looked at one point and it's like 83-8 in the third quarter, and I'm like, oh, no one likes those games. But if you're winning 83-8, you don't like those games. If you're losing 83-8, you don't like those games. You're worried about players getting hurt. I'm sure there was a running clock in the second half at some point. But yeah, 91 is very hard to. It's not hard to do, but I mean, I'm sure like Decatur's not trying to get to 91. I mean, they're in the 60s. They're running basic plays and just popping them and that type of thing. So
you got to get. 90, I mean, you got to play your games. Like, and actually, listen, I mentioned Coach Bendel did the YouTube stream tonight with Corey Hogue, and Corey actually talked to him about that. Like, when is it running up the score? And it's like, well, if you got your backups, I mean, you still got to get them reps, right? I mean, you still got to have your guys prepared. And you know, he brought up whenever they were playing Andrews earlier this year, and you know, scored 70 points, and the backup quarterback goes in there and throws for how many touchdowns the Burkhead had? I think he had 2 touchdowns. But I mean, he's got to get that guy ready. I mean, that's a guy that's going to be playing for their program in the near future. So it's hard. That's just one of those things, man. Like, and it sucks from that standpoint, right? You don't want to be on the wrong end of it. I mean, how many years ago was it that Fort Worth person sued Alito because Alito beat their son's team so badly? I mean, it, they don't go out there wanting to do this. It's just sometimes it does that. I mean, the talent differential can be that bad in that level, and unfortunately, it seems like Fort Worth is on the receiving end of a lot of those too. And it's just kind of how it goes. The game you didn't mention, Nolan, was I thought it was Alvord
Oh yeah,
beating
that
Tom
too.
Bean. Tom Bean was undefeated, and Alvord taking them. What was it, 49-42? I thought that was a
Mhm.
big result too.
Yeah, loud statement there from Albert. Kind of puts them now in the driver's seat of that district. I believe they still have to play Tioga, who is my preseason district champ. But Tom Bean topped Tioga last week. Now Albert, like I said, puts himself in the driver's seat there. But there's still plenty left to play out there. But the Bulldogs look good tonight.
Last
I
game, I
think we
think we
need to
should
start. Oh, go ahead.
go. I was going to say one last game. I think we should talk about before we start looking at next week. I thought was Electra beating Seymour. We didn't really touch on it too much, but that's a huge win for Electra. A really tough loss for Seymour because now they're 0-3 in that district. You kind of said you don't want to go 0-3 and get to that point. It makes it really hard to get back into the district playoff race at that point. But Electra getting that win, nice win there for Coach Josh Ritchie and his staff.
Yeah, that's and Seymour still got Petrolia, so they're 0-3 going, facing
Yeah.
Petrolia next week, which is going to be tough. I kind of felt like it could change, but I kind of felt like that Seymour Electra was maybe for fourth, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah.
discredit Monday or any of those other teams, but I feel like we have a Windthorst, a Petrolia, a Haskell, and then that game was going to decide maybe who eventually gets fourth, and so that's a big one for Electra. I think it's time to look at next week's games, and it's a weird kind of schedule because Memorial Stadium is dark and
Yeah.
Legacy's off. Memorial has one of the bigger games next week, going to Abilene Wiley. That's a team that barely beat them last year in what ended up being the district title. But what are some? I mean, talk about that game. Let's talk about some other kind of big games next week.
Yeah, for me, I think there are two 11-man games that really stick out to me. One of them is Peaster at Paradise. You said last week, Zach, that we kind of felt like Paradise, Peaster, and Vernon kind of put themselves on the top tier of that district. That's a massive showdown. Peaster is 6-0 for the first time in school history. Obviously, Paradise is the reigning district and region champs. So that one's going to be a heck of a game to watch play out. And then also, like I said earlier ago, I have the Crum Sanger matchup that I'll probably be going to next week. Fantastic matchup between two really good running backs.
Yeah, and I do
Go
think
ahead.
there's a couple interesting 3A games. Henrietta at City View. Henrietta with a big win tonight over Valley View. Big as in large margin. I mean, I think everyone kind of knew that was going to happen. View has still scored as many points this year as you, me, and Nolan combined whole. But so Henrietta Seaview. Henrietta's coming in with a lot of momentum. Seaview coming off a loss. Talked to Coach Lewiston tonight afterwards, and he's like, we need to make sure this loss doesn't carry into next week. And so I think that Henrietta Seaview game is definitely an interesting game. And I haven't decided where I'm going, but a game I'm going to look at is Bowie at Boyd. I mean, Bowie's kind of thrown itself into the
Okay.
playoff race now. But you turn around and lose to Boyd, and then you're kind of like, oh gosh, maybe we're out of it again, or maybe we're tiebreaker situation like last year that came down to a tiebreaker situation. So Bowie at Boyd, I think, takes on a bigger meaning now with the Jackrabbits wing tonight.
I was looking, and I'm not sure where I'll go. I thought I might go down to Abilene, but it sounds like I'm going to get some help from that way and not have to make that trip to watch Memorial and Wiley. If I had my choice, though, and I mean, working for a newspaper company, it's not always my choice. But that would be the game I would go to, would be Memorial and Wiley. But if as I look at it, I'm probably going to end up at Henrietta City View. I think that's the best one. Of course, I like to kind of try to stay closer to home to set this thing up and really get us going each night from that standpoint. So, truthfully, I'm very interested to see how Cruz Coleman and that Henrietta offense goes. I mean, Cruz Coleman's, I can't imagine. I watched a little bit of their game tonight, and that seems like I popped up their stream like 3 or 4 times throughout the night, and it seems like every time I did, he was breaking another big run. So I'm very interested to see his stats come tomorrow morning once the Henrietta coaches put those in. But it's I'd like to see him. I want to see him against what we think is, and I still do believe is a very good defense in City View. I don't care what Jacksboro did tonight. Jacksboro just showed that they were pretty special still on offense. But that one stands out the most to me. Whenever I look just elsewhere around around the area as far as district games go, I think that's the winner, right? It's hard to just get too. I don't know. I don't know when I yeah. What else really stands out?
Well, we did,
For
we
you guys,
did,
those
we
really two
did, we
games.
did, we didn't mention Nolan's alma mater, but Our Park, they're 0-2, but those two losses are to Peaster and
Yeah,
Paradise, just like Bowie's were Peaster and Paradise, and it's just kind of funny. They get Ponder now,
right.
so
And that's a
I mean,
winnable
they
um,
were
game.
in
Yeah,
this. They were in the same position last year, and this is the game that Reed McLean came in and they won this game that no one really expected them to over Ponder, and that ultimately gave them that tiebreaker at the end of the year for them to get the 4th spot. So you never know in that district.
yeah. And I'm not trying to, we don't want to talk. As long as not talking down. A lot of our teams that we're talking about, like, hey, they don't have a great game. Well, it's because they're actually the real heavy favorites in those games. Graham, really heavy favorite over Bridgeport, for example. Jacksboro, Millsap, Holiday, Valley View. I don't like Valley View's chances to end the shutout streak that they have going. They're on the wrong side of. When you look at those games, they just don't stand out as like these monumental games. You mentioned Petrolia Seymour. I think does still hold some interest still because I think Seymour is very dangerous. Uh, you saw how close they played with Electra tonight and with much lower scoring game, but they also can go out there and get into a shootout if they need to, like they did with Haskell 2 weeks ago. So uh, it there's some intrigue. Electra at Monday I find intriguing, right? Like if Monday wants to hang their hat and say, hey, we can get into the playoffs, they got to win that game. That's an absolute must win for Monday. So 6-man wise, Newcastle at Knox City. I wish once upon a time last year, that was a game of the week candidate. Unfortunately, isn't this year. Bryson at Perrin Witt is very interesting to me though, because Bryson's been pretty solid, but this is really going to be the first time I think they're tested against a really good team too in Perrin Witt. All right, so that's next week. This week, put a bow on it. Well, what when you come back to it, give me your final thought. What stands out as you could look to write your final weekly wrap up, Zach? What stands out as kind of the theme of the week?
I mean, I think you got to look at just Jacksboro making a statement, and then Bowie Legacy kind of down, not to their last out, but 0-2, got to get a win, and they both got done. I think that's kind of stands out, and also why I'm wearing this shirt, not for Legacy Soccer, but Team Aaron with a big win recently.
Yeah.
So super happy for that.
I think we put it out. It can end on that right there. So congrats to Team Aaron, Coach Holly, his wife. Yeah, that's as good as it gets right there. Thank you all for joining us on this week 7 edition of Falls Friday Night, and we will see you next week.
Tonight's broadcast of Falls Friday Night was brought to you by Arrowhead Roofing. For more than 25 years, Arrowhead Roofing has been Texoma's trusted name for roofing, siding, gutters, and more. When storms hit or it's time for an upgrade, call the team Texoma has relied on since 1999. Arrowhead Roofing, the exterior experts. And Macaulay Landscapes. For 21 years, Macaulay Landscapes has been keeping Wichita Falls beautiful. Visit MacaulayLandscapes.com to learn more about their full range of services. Macaulay Landscapes, making Wichita Falls look its best since 2003. That wraps up another edition of Falls Friday Night. Every score, every story, every Friday.